Hey, shalom everybody. Shalom from Israel. This is Ronny. What I would like to share with you today will be part of the Israeli society, a group of people that refuse to integrate into our society, people which are in a transition, changing a way of life, and maybe the most fast growing population on the planet, and that will be the Israeli Bedouins. I need to give you a short definition who are these Bedouins in order to explain what is the main problem vis-a-vis the Israeli government and the Israeli society. The term Badawi is in Arabic and it means the desert. And these are people that used to have a nomadic life. We speak about clans and tribes who live in the desert. In Israel, it's called the Negev Desert, and they used to wander from place to place. The reason to wander back in the old days was to find water sources, sometimes some very primitive agriculture as well, if they camp in a place long enough. But it had another part for it as well, not to be under the authority of any government. Their understanding of being free is to be able to pack all of their belongings and to go from place to place, not to suffer any kind of oppression. Because if somebody tries to occupy them, somebody tries to submit them to their authorities, all you have to do is to pack up your belongings. You do not invest in real estate and move on to another location where you are free. That was the basic understanding behind the Bedouins, and the Bedouin describes a way of life. It's not your religion, it simply means to be a nomad. Abraham was a Bedouin, and so are Isaac and Jacob, and therefore speak about a group of people that live in the region for a long, long time, but in the 21st century they have to make some adjustments. Until 1948, before the State of Israel was born, there were no borders marked in the Middle East. These people could travel and wander freely wherever they wanted to, away from the big cities, away from the authorities. But after the birth of the State of Israel, the borders have to be marked, and it was marked by fences, and the Bedouins had to make a decision. Do they want to stay within the borders of the state and become part of Israel, or to stay outside? And since the location of Israel is cutting the desert into two almost, you cannot go from Egypt to Jordan unless you're going through Israel's territory. That would be a decision that they had to make. About 50,000 of them, these were the numbers back in 1948, decided to stay in Israel and be part of the state. So we do have Israelis that had a nomadic way of life, but they started changing the way of life as well. It's a society in a transition. To be part of the state of Israel, to enjoy all the rights in the nation and all the opportunities the nation is providing, you cannot seclude yourself in a certain area and to try to keep the tribal structure. It doesn't work like that. Because if you live down in the Negev desert, how many jobs can the state create just for the Bedouins in the desert? You want to find a job, you go where the work is at, and that will take you away from your clan, away from your tribe. They refuse to do that. So that will be one problem, is to try to keep the tribal structure, and that doesn't work that well in the country because once again, the state is limited in the resources it can dedicate to fully integrate the Bedouins in their own area to the Israeli economy, society. They all go to school, many go to the army, many go to universities, and many have decent education. But once again, if you live down south around the area of Beersheba, how many jobs one can find there? And therefore the Bedouins do want to fit in, and they do get the right education. Some of them, not all of them, but many don't. And even if you graduate from high school and you go to university and you have a diploma, if you refuse to leave the clan, if you refuse to leave the tribe, you will not find any job. And therefore the rate of unemployment among the Bedouins is very high. So they're getting engaged in all kind of illegal stuff. Protection. They offer their protection to businesses in the area of Beersheba, which is the heart of the Israeli Negev. And if you refuse to take the offer, they will be your biggest enemies. And usually we speak about loss of property and sometimes loss of life as well. We speak about people that are engaged in human trafficking, in drug dealing. The fact that we build a fence between us and the Egyptians will not stop that trafficking on both sides. And the Bedouins have their own families and their own tribes in the Egyptian territory as well, and there's some good cooperation. We speak about a very violent society as well, we have to admit, and there's no law and order in the Israeli Negev. The police is not very happy to go inside into their area in order to enforce law and order. And therefore the Bedouins that do prevail in lawlessness are getting more bold and getting more well equipped with weapons. They steal a lot from the army bases in the area, and that's becoming a real challenge for the state. Recently, the issue is the issue of land. They want the state of Israel recognize the right for the land, but in a very strange way. Every place they used to want the true, they want the state to recognize that this is their land, that they should have the rights for it. More than that, Israel is refusing to provide services to every single tent. There are 7 towns that Israel had built in the Negev for the Bedouins, and yes, to say a Bedouin town may be an oxymoron. Bedouins are not used to live in towns, but now they have to be more accommodated into the 21st century. And Israel provides full services to these 7 towns. But many of the Bedouins don't want to stay in towns. So how many jobs you can create? You can't pave a road to every tent on the mountaintop. You cannot send the school bus to every single tent to pick up the kids to go to school. So the plan is now to keep adding those centers so the state will provide services to certain centers, but it's never enough. The Bedouins want to control the land of the Negev desert, and they say that the land is theirs, and Israel should recognize that. And that will be now the main issue between the state and the Bedouin society. And therefore we speak about a group of people, the numbers are growing really fast. Yes, not everybody obviously will speak about the minority, but once again, if you're in the right age, you refuse to go to get education, you need to make a living somehow, it's always there to be engaged in drug dealing, to be engaged in human trafficking and any other violent actions. So now the Bedouins present a real problem. Sometimes people are filming what they see on the roads down in the Negev desert. People carry weapons, they fire in the air, they just do whatever they want and nobody stops them. It becomes to be a real problem to traffic of Israelis that travel through the area, especially at night. We speak about gangs in many ways. We speak about blood revenge, which is so common between or among the Bedouin society. On one hand side, we speak about very generous society because hospitality is an important principle for the Bedouins. On the other hand, we speak about a society which is totally lawless and they prevail in lawlessness. So Israel has a major challenge for the next few years because it's going to be too late. If you're not controlling that now, it's going to be too late. We're going to have tens of thousands of Bedouin youngsters which are unemployed, armed to their teeth and trained because many of them go to the army, and they will present a challenge that they do already. So if you think that everything is smooth and everything is fine in the state of Israel, far from it. And this is one aspect that sometimes is not well covered because whenever you speak about the Jewish state and how it controls and how it works vis-a-vis non-Jews in the country, you're walking in a minefield because the whole world is watching. And if Israel has something to say against the Bedouins, even building mosques in the middle of nowhere because it's their right, Israel is criticized severely by many organizations around the world the way that we treat the Bedouins in the country. So this is one of the other aspects that we need to take good care about because it's going to be out of control real soon. The numbers are growing really fast, the demands are growing really fast, and this society becomes more violent and more law-breaking, if you can use those terms. So that was another broadcast from Israel. I wish you all the best, and once again, take good care of yourselves and practice social distancing. May the God of Israel richly bless you all.